Okay, thank you, Kat. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present during this webinar. So my name is Robert Jankaris. I'm a technology strategist, and I would like to kind of cover a couple of things in the next 20 minutes or so. The first thing really is about a modern workplace in Microsoft 365, and then talk about Teams, what you can expect, what Teams is about, and what is going to come in the next couple of days, months, with regards to new features. So when we talk about Teams in the context of Microsoft 365, Microsoft 365 is really kind of the range of different services that we provide in the modern workplace. And there are like 4 pillars that we normally try to focus on. The first one is about unlocking creativity. The second one, built for teamwork, integrated for simplicity and intelligent security. And of course, Teams is part of the build for teamwork. But I would like to very quickly touch on 1 or 2 of the other ones too. The first one I want to touch on is about unlocking creativity. What you can see here is kind of a slide that shows a very kind of innovative office. Microsoft has been working together with companies like Steelcase that are very much focused on redesigning offices to provide, in a way, a better layout and allow users and people in the organization to be more creative. What you can see here is there's a person working on a service studio. On the right hand side, you see a service hub hanging on the wall where 1 or 2 people are kind of collaborating on. And the idea really is to allow office, space, and technology to work better together to create this creative environment. So this is a kind of a very nice example of where, offices, the way you lay out offices together working with technologies can create better environments for creativity. Some organizations even believe that creativity starts actually trumping productivity. So although a lot of focus is still very much on productivity and how you get the best productivity out of your employees, so certain organizations are really focusing on how even getting more creativity out of their employees to become more competitive in the market. So, office design and technology working together with design and architecture is one way. Obviously, we also have invested a lot of time and effort into applications like mixed reality viewer and 3D objects that you can implement and import into PowerPoint to be able to kind of create very nice different designs within PowerPoint as well. So there are different ways how you can actually kind of unlock creativity, but this is just one example, really. The other pillar that I would like to kind of very quickly focus on is this thing about security and intelligence. So you probably know about Microsoft providing obviously Office 365 services, but it also provides services like Hotmail, Outlook.com, Xbox, as well as Azure services. And as a result, we do quite a lot of authentications each month. I think the number here being mentioned is 300 billion. I would think that's even on the low side, but over 300 billion user authentications we are doing each month. We update roughly 1 billion plus Windows devices, and we scan roughly 200 billion or more emails regularly for spam and malware. So as an organization, Microsoft collects and has a lot of insight within the intelligence with regards to security, what kind of malware, what kind of threats are out there. And the message really is that although we are not probably known as very much as a specific security organization, we actually spend a lot of time and resources in making sure that our services are very much secure. And when you're using our services, you should feel kind of at ease with this kind of intelligence in mind. That we are doing everything and anything we can to make this service as secure possible. So that brings me kind of quite nicely to the topic of Teams. Teams is, as I mentioned, is going to be kind of the main theme of this webinar. And I wanted to kind of, in a way, give a very quick introduction into what Teams is about for the people that actually haven't really worked together with Teams. And for the ones that have and actually are using Teams already, hopefully kind of a little overview of what Teams can do for you. So within Office 365, we have quite a range of different collaboration tools already in play. Obviously, we have Outlook, to be able to kind of email and schedule meetings, etc. There's Skype for Business, there's Yammer, and in a way, Teams actually is touching on all of different ways of communication as well. For the ones that actually are familiar with the concept of groups, we kind of launch groups to be able to help people that were trying to set up a team to work on a specific, let's say, project, to make it as easy as possible to collaborate. So with the concept of groups and teams as well, if you want to, for example, set up an alias to allow other users to kind of get in touch with you as a group, that's automatically done when you set up a group and a team. It automatically provides you with a shared calendar. You have a place to actually store your documents, etc., etc. So as it shows you here on the slide, Teams allows exactly to do all those things. So you can actually email a team within Teams. You can easily create and share documents and find content. You can schedule meetings, you can call people, you could do chats between two people, you can have a group chat, persistent chat with a whole team of people, and it's very easy to connect across the organization. So, with Teams, it's not really kind of started from scratch, it's built up all the other stuff that we were already providing as service within Office 365, including SharePoint, Skype for Business, etc. So when you see actually and look at Teams as a platform to collaborate on, it's very easy to join or even create a team. As soon as you have created a team, you can very quickly start chatting. As I mentioned before, you can do a one-on-one chat or one-to-few or many chats where you call it more like a group chat or a persistent chat. You can share documents, you can actually schedule meetings and so on, and hopefully be very productive within Teams. Now, for the ones that actually haven't been using Teams in the past, I kind of put this slide on to kind of show you kind of a quick interpretation of what Teams could look like and could do for you. So on the left-hand side, you can see a couple of different teams that this person is part of. So you see Northwind Traders, you see Contoso, you see designers and so on. And within each of those teams, you can see different channels. We call them channels, almost like the different types of topics you want to discuss. The one that we're looking here specifically is kind of a channel called marketing within Northwind Traders. And as you can see, it's very easy to kind of see what is being discussed, what different people are saying. You can attach and in a way drag different types of documents into this discussion. You see a PowerPoint called social media being part of this conversation. You can easily add application there as well. You can have, for example, talk about a weather app or a PowerPoint app, etc., that you can actually embed into the conversation as well. So hopefully it's giving you a very nice environment to collaborate and use all different types of applications that you would normally do to collaborate with your team members. So what we have tried to do already in the Skype for Business and even before that in the Link Days is to kind of create a better meeting experience. And I think, with Teams, we very much bring this alive. And this is this whole concept about having a life cycle when you talk about meetings. So, for example, when you are talking to a group of people in the context of a team, you probably want to schedule your next meeting. You are trying to discuss what type of content you want to have, and obviously you want to schedule that meeting. That's what we kind of call the activities involved with a pre-meeting. Then while you're doing the meeting, you would like everybody within that meeting to join for any type of device. You would probably like to share some PowerPoint or maybe some content or maybe even just a desktop. And obviously you would like to record that meeting for the people that can't make that meeting. And then afterwards, you probably would like to make that meeting available for people that have missed the meeting, or maybe share it with others you think that meeting content might be relevant to. So all those three kind of stages within a meeting's life cycle have actually been very nicely, in my mind, embedded and brought to life with Teams. So When you think about scheduling a meeting, I'm talking here within a channel, and we decided to actually set up a meeting called Creative Review. And what you normally would do, like you would do in a Skype for Business meeting or the type of conferencing meeting, you would schedule it, right? So you would probably use Outlook to set up a meeting, create the meeting itself with a subject, you invite a couple of people to it, and you make it a Skype for Business meeting. The same thing is applicable for Teams as well. So you could do exactly the same thing as I just described within Skype for Business. But on top of that, what we have tried to do is to make it also as easy as possible for other type of scenarios where people want to join a meeting. And you should kind of think here in a scenario where I'm walking around the office, I'm looking into a couple of meeting rooms, and suddenly I see this group of people there that are normally my teammates and are discussing a specific topic. I say, hey, actually, that looks interesting. I would like to join them. And this is exactly the same scenario I'm actually trying to show you here. So I'm in a channel within this team called New Employee Onboarding Team. And the channel is called here Leadership Speaker Series. And while I'm actually looking into this channel, looking at the conversation going on, I see there's a meeting actually happening as we speak. So there and then I can just say join that meeting, and automatically I can be part of this kind of meeting that's already ongoing. So yes, you can still schedule the meetings as you would expect, but at the same time you can be more creative and allow people to join whenever, if you wanted them to, whenever they are available and see that's an interesting topic to discuss. So that's kind of, inviting people to join a meeting. Then obviously when we actually record the meeting, what you would expect is we record the content, we record the video, as well as, of course, any chats going on. But at the same time, as part of the recording afterwards, we create a transcription. So we can actually see what's being said as a transcription. Very nice and very easy when especially you have people in there with different languages, etc. But more, in my mind, more importantly, you can even search for keywords as well. So I normally quite curious if there's a meeting happening that I haven't been part of to see, hey, was actually my name mentioned, right? So I could actually do a search for Robert and see if anybody gave me any actions that I should be aware of. Or maybe a better example would be, hey, I know there's a next meeting going to happen. Can I look for the keyword search called, let's say, a meeting and date, and then actually find and jump to the right time in the recording where the next meeting is being mentioned. So a couple of examples here where, for example, transcription could be very useful. And again, that's going to be part of the meeting experience. So as I mentioned in one of my earlier comments, yes, we would like anybody kind of to join from whatever kind of device that's available. And what I'm showing you here is the experience that you would have from a mobile platform. So, you should be able to see the chats that's happening within specific channels. I should be able to join meetings through voice, but also video, as you can see there. I could see the files that are being shared, and obviously I can also see maybe actions that are being assigned to me using an application like Planner. So, from a mobile perspective, desktop perspective, hopefully all angles are covered. So that's kind of a very quick overview what Teams is about, what you could do with Teams. And I would like to use the next couple of slides to kind of show you the journey that we're actually talking about. It's called intelligent communications. In the past, we talked about unified communications. Now we start talking about intelligent communications because we really want to kind of have conversations that are having a more richer context and therefore, infuse some intelligence in our collaboration and in our communications, hence the terminology intelligent communications. So a couple of months back, I think it's roughly 9 months back now, September, October timeframe, we made this big announcement saying, hey, we have a new cloud-born Skype backend infrastructure that's going to be powering Microsoft Teams. And the second announcement is about, for Office 365 cloud customers, Microsoft Teams will evolve as the core intelligent communications client. So those kind of two big announcements were being made, and that kind of made clear to many people in the market that Teams is kind of the next, in a way, generation collaboration platform that Microsoft is pushing out there. So what does that mean for especially people that are using Skype for Business today? Well, if you are using Skype for Business on premises, today, the message really is absolutely keep on doing it if that's kind of what you would like to keep on focusing your attention on. There's going to be a next release for Skype for Business Server as well. And so there, by all means, Skype for Business as a concept, as an on-premises service is and will be available for the foreseeable future. For people that are using Skype for Business Online, there has been no announcement at all about making that end of life or disappearing. No, the message is if you are using Skype for Business Online today, by all means, keep on using it. It's supported. It's there for the foreseeable future. Microsoft Teams, we kind of interestingly had our first anniversary a couple of weeks back, so it's kind of new, but at the same time, as you've seen with our previous announcement, it's being seen as kind of the future next generation kind of collaboration platform. And so all kind of new technology enhancements, or I should say features and services that we're going to introduce in the collaboration space are very much going to be focused on the Microsoft Teams platform. So I would say the message really is that, yes, by all means, if you're a Skype for Business Online user, keep on doing that, keep on using it. But if you see certain features that are interesting being introduced into Teams, and you start thinking, hey, that would be actually interesting, it should be quite straightforward to move from Skype for Business Online to Microsoft Teams. And that's kind of the message we want to get out there. So looking at what kind of the new features are upcoming, and actually they're the ones that have been deployed very recently, there's a public roadmap that's available for instant messaging and presence. The first one, the second slide is normally about meetings, which I'm showing you here, and a third slide about voice and what we call the previously called Cloud PBX, but which is now called the telephone system. So there are three elements to Teams. And the one I'm showing you here for time reasons is just a meetings roadmap, but the other ones are publicly available as well. And I quickly want to show you very quickly what you can expect over the next couple of weeks. So today, as we stand here, I already showed you kind of how you could schedule a meeting, etc. You can share desktop, you can share your application and so on. Those are kind of things that we are familiar with within Skype for Business and Skype for Business Online as well. And you would expect them to see those same features being available in Teams as they are. So as it says there, coming into the second quarter, meaning before the end of June, are a couple of interesting ones. I talked already about this recording capability, the cloud recording for meetings. That's coming before the end of June with the transcription and the keyword search. Things like allowing more people to take part in meetings. Let's say Skype for Business Online allows you to get up to 250 people into a single meeting. Currently, I think we are in Teams with 80 users, but that's, as you can see there, will be shortly extended to 250 users. Creating a lobby for PSTN callers, so when you start a meeting, allow joiners from outside the company to actually stay in the lobby till the organizer arrives. All those kind of features, as you would expect, are shortly being rolled out within Teams as well. The message really here, and especially the next slide I'm going to show you, is that by the end of June, whether it's from a chat and presence perspective or a meeting and audio conferencing perspective or a voice and phone system perspective, we believe that most of the features, if not all of the features that you already are familiar with in Skype for Business Online, are going to be available in Teams as well. And therefore, moving from Skype for Business Online to Teams should be more like, hey, I want to have even more features that I can see are being rolled out in Teams, which are looking interesting, rather than Microsoft saying, hey, you have to go because we no longer support Skype for Business, because that's not true, right? So Skype for Business Online is going to be is supported, it's there, nothing has been announced that this is going to be taken away. So you should really feel comfortable using the service. However, at the same time, if you are interested in kind of new features coming in, then hopefully Teams will, in a way, pull you to that journey as well. So to make that kind of move from Skype for Business Online to Teams even easier, we have kind of moved together the admin user interface for both Teams and Skype for Business in the same place. So what I'm trying to show you here is an admin perspective where I can see different users. I can then decide as an admin or as a management team which user or what group of users I would like to start moving from Skype for Business Online to Teams. Maybe initially I want to have them side by side, meaning allow a user to use Skype for Business Online as well as Teams. And then by the time I think all the features that I'm looking for are in Teams, I now want to move that whole group of people to Teams only. As you can see on the right hand side, and then that's possible too. So, from a migration perspective, it should be pretty straightforward to move from Skype for Business Online to Teams. Things like the extension, the phone extension you might have assigned to a user, as well as kind of the dial-in numbers you use for meetings are going to stay the same. So no change there at all. It's pretty much in a way the user interface that probably will change. So what is the kind of the view for tomorrow then? Well, as I mentioned, Skype for Business on premises, by all means, keep on using that. There will be a new release for that. So with regards to on-premises and the branding around it, we probably keep on using Skype for Business. When we talk about the cloud service, you will see the branding moving to Microsoft Teams. Even if you still use Skype for Business Online, the kind of the cloud service and the marketing and the branding around it, you probably see move more towards Microsoft Teams as a brand name. So having said all of those things, I mentioned Skype for Business, I don't think I mentioned Yammer, but Yammer, Teams obviously, and so on. There are a lot of different collaboration platforms as an organization you can actually have access to. And so sometimes you get the question, hey, what should we use? And there's no right or wrong answer to this question, right? So it's pretty much in a way a journey that normally organizations are on. I think the most important thing from an organization perspective is to kind of decide on a strategy. Maybe think about in 9-12 months time as an organization what kind of collaboration tool we want to use, and then kind of create a journey to how to get there. And I think this slide actually is building quite nicely on this. So you see in month 1, month 2, I might actually start positioning different collaboration solutions and so on. This is obviously just showing actually Microsoft solutions. You can imagine there might be third-party solutions out there that you might be using too. And the message really is there's no really right or wrong answer. It's more about certain scenarios might be more suitable for specific collaboration platform. For example, if I just want to share a single document with another person, maybe OneDrive for Business might be the right way to do. If I want to, let's say, share one message with the rest of the organization, probably Yammer might be a better way of doing that, and so on. And I think, those kind of journeys is exactly the thing you could actually discuss with the team at Core to help you decide what is the best journey to actually move my organization from a collaboration perspective. And that kind of brings me to the last slide. So, when we talk about teams, what would be the first 10 things to do? Well, it's summarized here. Start with downloading the application if you have not done already. Start kind of using it, chatting with people, look at the different channels you can create, customize them, add apps to it, and then start maybe elevating those email conversations to chat conversations within Teams, start using the meeting capabilities within Teams, and maybe even start using them as your telephone platform as well. And with that, I would like to hand you back to Kat. Thank you very much.